Welcome to HortTube. My name is Jim Putnam. In this video, I'm going to do a cart-to-cart video. I just got a lot of my Southern Living plant collection and Encore Azaleas in for the fall. It's just the first load of, hope several. If customers are coming and buying them, it's time to ramp up and convert summer into fall at my place. I actually have mums coming today, which is entirely too early, but it at least gets people thinking about the fact that in the South where I'm at, fall is definitely the best time to be planting. And unfortunately, we'll always sell 80% of what we're going to sell in the spring, but really from zone 7 down to zone 10 in the US, fall is probably the best time to plant. Might be some exceptions in some places to what I just said, but for the most part, fall is the best time. This parking lot is chock-a-block full of stuff, and I'm going to shoot several videos over here just going where I can go plant to plant and teach a lot of plants all at once. And in this first video, I'm going to start with the Southern Living plant collection things and some Encore Azaleas. So a lot of these things I'm going to show you, I have actually done videos on, and you can search them on my channel. The Utopia Plum yew here, I have put some of these in my yard. This is a yew that's good in zone 6 to 10, and it's a great shade evergreen. This one's going to get in the 3 foot by 3 foot range, maybe 3 to 4 by 3 to 4. But I put a row of these into the shadier end of my white garden, and they're quite nice. I haven't shown them. They haven't put on a lot of growth, just like a lot of conifers. They won't grow a lot the first year, but they'll take off pretty quick next year. Here's that flirt nandina. I put a couple of these in my front yard. This is just a fantastic nandina. Has that beautiful new burgundy red foliage on it right there. Only gets about 1 to 2 feet tall. There's one called Harbor Dwarf that is very similar in shape and habit to this one, but this one has so much better color at the top right there. That's flirt nandina, and it's good for zone 6 to 10. This is a purple pixie, Loropetalum, another one that I've definitely covered several times. You can see this weeping habit on this Loropetalum. Really beautiful plant, and that's zone 7 to 10. It'll get those pink frilly flowers in the spring, and then typically again in the fall it will repeat bloom. Keeps its foliage. All 3 plants I've shown you so far are evergreens. They're going to keep their foliage in the wintertime, as will this ruby October Magic Camellia. I've planted one of these at my yard. This is a beautiful red Camellias sasanqua, and I don't know if you'll be able to see how many buds there are on this plant. Really beautiful variety. I've just planted some of these October Magic Camellias recently at my house. They're going to be hardy in zone 7 to 9, and this is a fall blooming camellia. Up here a little higher on this rack. I had to pull things down to the ground because the sun is so bad up there. Here's some sunshine ligustrum right here. This is a 1 gallon sunshine ligustrum. Just beautiful plants right there that I've planted in a couple places in my yard, and I'm about to plant some more here at the garden center very soon. Here's some Encore Azaleas back here. There's some Autumn Empress still flowering. I've pretty much had Encore Azaleas this entire summer. I've had at least 1 or 2 blooming all summer, and for the last few weeks they've really been putting on a show. There's a couple racks of them there, and I have another table I'll show you in a minute. All still blooming here in late August. Up here on the top I've got some of these orange rocket barberries, and I'll pull one of these down to the ground. I really like this plant. I've got a video comparison coming up between a lot of different barberries. I have them collected over at my house, and this is one of them, but this one's an upright, narrow growing variety. As you can see right here, it wants to just go straight up and has this just incredibly beautiful foliage, and it's hardy in zone 5 to 9. That's an orange rocket barberry. Here's another variety of camellia up here called Alabama Beauty. I just planted one of these, or 2 of these actually. 2 of the 3 that I planted in my yard recently were Alabama Beauty. Again, these are going to be hardy in zone 7 to 9. And just beautiful evergreen shrubs. Part shade is best on these camellias. I usually try to put them where they get a lot of morning sun. They're budded up right now. They'll start blooming in October and into November and December in my area. This is one of the reasons I love camellias. Everything else gives up, and that's when they start blooming. Here's the thing I'm probably most excited about right here. This is that Empress of China dogwood here, and these are hardy in zone 6 to 9. I planted one of these in a video in the spring, at my house. These are just stunningly beautiful. This is the first time I've actually had them available. I had the one to plant at my house, but I wasn't able to buy any since then to resell. But these are just beautiful, beautiful trees, and they get that the covered in the white flowers, and then they get that strawberry looking fruit on them, and it's an evergreen dogwood. I've got some autumn bonfire Encore Azaleas up there. That's the newest red one right there. Let's see, up on the top of this rack there's some, I think these are jubilation gardenias. Yeah, these are jubilation right here. This is a new variety of gardenia. Really super, super nice foliage. Gardenias are evergreen shrubs for those of you who are unfamiliar. And this one's a 7 to 10, zone 7 to 10. And it gets 3 to 4 feet tall and 3 to 4 feet wide, and is very, very cold hardy. I had these through the winter this past year out here on this parking lot. We probably had the worst winter since I've been in this business, and they held up very, very well. I would have expected to have had significant damage on them, but they held up very well. So I think the cold tolerance is very good on that jubilation gardenia. This is another thing I'm excited about. I hadn't even put my eyes on this plant until I just pulled these out of the truck. This is a Pancake arborvitae. Expect to see a video on this very, very soon. This is a beautiful, soft to the touch. Only gets about 18 inches tall, a little bit wider than tall, and goes in the full sun. I can't wait to talk more about this plant and get one planted in my yard, or several in my yard. It has that blue-green foliage on it. It's really super striking. Here's some color guard Yucca right here. This one is actually hardy all the way up to zone 4, and it'll get 3 to 4 feet high. There's just nothing more striking than these Yuccas, and they're definitely sun-loving plants. I've got a couple cleyera in. There's several cleyera in the Southern Living Plant Collection plants. Let me get one down right here. For those of you who aren't familiar with cleyera, they are absolutely perfect, shiny foliaged evergreen shrubs that most of them get pretty big. This one, Leanne right here, can get 10 to 12 feet high. It's hard. They're hardy in zone 7 to 10. Really great screening plants. And you can really, the thing with cleyera, you can almost treat them like boxwoods and have them be very, very informal shapes, or you can just let them get big and they'll become slightly taller than wide evergreen shrubs. And over here I've got one other variety. This one's called Bronze Beauty, and it gets this really beautiful new bronze foliage on it, and 8 to 10 feet on that one. Again, they're hardy in zone 7 to 10. Here's the Obsession nandinas. I planted these last year on the west side of my house, and I planted them because they're so rugged. Just to look at the beautiful new foliage on this plant. I need to show mine in my next walkthrough video at my house. I usually forget to show them, but there's just stunningly beautiful foliage on that thing. Zone 6 to 10 on it. It's going to get about 3 to 4 feet high and 3 to 4 feet wide. And that flirt nandina I showed earlier only gets about 1 to 2 feet. So you can kind of pick those by the height that you end up needing them to get. Of all the Loropetalum, I did that all about Loropetalum video earlier in the spring. And this Purple Daydream is probably my favorite of all of them at this point. There's a couple little flowers coming back out on this right now. When I shot that video, they weren't blooming. There's what the flowers look like, and they get covered in those eventually. This is a dwarf Loropetalum that only gets 2 to 3 feet tall. These are evergreen, and just what else can you say? A perfect purple foliaged evergreen. It blooms twice a year and only gets 2 to 3 feet in height, so you don't have to hack on it all the time. Good choice. The walkthrough, or the one-day landscape video that I did last week, I included this Mojo pittosporum right here. That's it right there. These are zone 7 to 10, and this is another low-growing evergreen shrub. Gets about 3 by 3. This is beautiful variegated foliage. As it matures, it's kind of more of an off-white color, and when it's new, it's a more vivid yellow. It's a very striking Very, very striking plant. I've got another variety of Camellia up here. That one's October Magic Orchid. I've planted those in my yard as well. Hopefully you can see right up in here how many flower buds they have on them, and they'll get to blooming. This one, they say it only gets 4 to 6 feet tall. I haven't had one long enough to know, but if that's the case, that's fantastic, because Camellias sasanquas can get quite big over time, and so it'd be nice to have one that only gets or is maintainable at less than 6 feet tall. Over here, I've got some more sunshine ligustrum. We'll move through these very quickly. These are not hard to sell. Virtually every yard has a space for one of these. And I've cut some into cones at my house. I'm going to cut a couple into balls, and I've used them in containers as well. And I've actually used them fairly successfully in half-a-day sun in a container. I thought it would lose its color, but it really hasn't. I don't think I'd go less than a half a day. I think you would start to lose color at that point, but anything half a day or more will keep that bright, beautiful yellow foliage on it. Down here at the bottom, this is October Magic Inspiration Camellia. Look at that pink edge on that white flowering sasanqua, and that's again, all the camellias are 7 to 9 evergreen. You can tell by the growth habit on this one that this one's going to get taller. This one is labeled for 6 to 8 feet in height. Over here, I've got quite a few more Encore Azaleas. I did the top 10 Encore Azalea video recently. If you haven't taken a look at that video, I went through the top 10 selling Encore Azaleas and probably why they were, but you can see azaleas blooming this late in the season is kind of amazing. Some of these are for zone 6 and some of them for zone 7. So if you're in zone 6 and you want to grow azaleas, just make sure you go to the Encore website and look for the ones that are for zone 6 that are the best for your area. I have a few other items that are on the carts back here behind these other carts I've been showing you. Just some baby gum boxwoods here. These are hardy in zone 5 to 9. I use these all the time, as you've probably seen if you followed my channel. This is a spring sonata Indian hawthorn. Beautiful, low-growing evergreen shrub. Actually, this one can get up to about 4 feet, but it gets these beautiful white flowers on it in the spring. This one's very, very disease resistant. There's some old Indian hawthorn varieties that get very bad leaf spotting, and this one seems very, very resistant to it. They're hardy in zone 7 to 10. And then this is a soft caress mahonia, which I've planted in my yard, and I actually have an upcoming video comparing some mahonias. I think I have 4 varieties now after I plant one more at my house, and I was going to compare all 4 of them at that time. That soft caress mahonia is beautiful. It's hardy in zone 7 to 9, and it blooms with yellow flowers in the wintertime. So there's a few of the things I've gotten in from the Southern Living plant collection so far for this fall season. I'd love to have pretty much everything from the collection. There's a lot of plants from that collection. Just fantastic new introductions. There is a plant shortage this year, believe it or not. When the economy starts rolling like this, like it is, plants can't be stamped out. You know, other types of factories, other types of manufacturing places, they can just, they just turn the line up a little bit and they can, pump out product a little faster. It doesn't work that way in the plant world. Some of these plants took anywhere from 24 months to 4 years potentially to grow. So responding to changes in the economy is a little bit difficult. And so across the board, no matter what it is, from the Southern Living plant collection or all the other things that I have here at the garden center, most nurserymen are struggling to keep up, and it's a good thing, because the recession was extremely damaging to lots and lots of nurseries across America. They were some of the first people hit. When construction stops, plants are one of the first things that definitely got cut during that. So it's nice to have a return to it. It's nice to have an excitement about it again, and people out really improving the spaces that they live in. So thank you very much for watching this video. I'm going to shoot several of these. I've got a big load of trees actually coming this morning, and lots and lots of other things here. I'm just going to kind of bounce around and show you a lot of different things in a single video. Thank you very much for watching, and don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel to follow along.